there's a voice that's like no other, but the voice of God. When me and you speak, you can hear me, you can feel me, you can communicate with me. But then there's God, and then we kind of feel I'm on my knees, I have my hands together, my head is knelt down, I'm ready to listen. You have one thing, right? On your knees praying. But then there's one thing about you that we all have. A brain and a heart. And what my point will be is doubting. Are you at the back of your mind, or in front of your mind, or in your heart, in the deepest layers of your heart, do you feel you can't hear him? Oh, it's impossible to. It's not scientifically possible. That's what the mind would say. It's impossible. The heart would say, I can't do it. So my dear friend, take the lesson of John the Baptist. Go to Matthew 11, from verse 1 to 6. And it came to pass, when Jesus had made an end of commanding his 12 disciples, he departed hence to teach and preach in their cities. Now when John had heard in the prison the works of Christ, he sent 2 of his disciples. So he's just in prison. He sent 2 of his messengers, because back in those days, no Facebook. And Jesus said unto him, Are you he that should come, or do we look for another? Jesus answered and said unto them, Go and show John again those things, that which you do hear and see. The blind receive their sight, and the lame walk. The lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear. The dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. So now John was just doubting. He was in prison. Things couldn't have gotten worse. And he could have considered, I should have been rescued a long time ago. And I guess at times, he was doubting. Even though he saw God himself. Even though he wasn't like us, who had to pray. He still doubted the character of God, even though he was here, present in human flesh. It's strange. It is so strange how we could be doubting someone who is so powerful. So what's the resolution behind all this doubt? Of hearing the voice of God. Go to Isaiah 59, verse 1. Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither is ear heavy, that it cannot hear. Here we have Isaiah giving a prophecy. Prophecy that already have been. It's not like the prophecies of Jesus that already has been fulfilled, but he's giving a prophecy that will always have fulfillment in our lives. That no matter what happens in our lives, it'll keep being fulfilled. It'll always remain being fulfilled. If there's a better word to put it. So now, what does Jesus say about where you should pray? Oh, it's not that hard. Just look at Matthew 6, verse 7. But what about when you pray, enter in your closet, and when you have shut your door, pray to your Father which is in secret. And your Father which seeth in secret shall reward you openly. But when you pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathen do, for they think that you shall be heard for their much speaking. So, praying in a closet. It's a pretty strange place to pray in, isn't it? Because when we conduct prayer, I have the feeling that we all want everyone around us to feel the same feeling that we're feeling. Prayer is hiding yourself and not necessarily telling anyone, not telling even those who are closest to you that this is what you do. And I think this saves you from a lot of things in life. It saves you from a lot of curses in disguise. I know that there are things called blessings in disguise. There's already moments, many things, many opportunities that are blessing in disguises. But when you tell someone that you're praying, it's a curse in disguise, while it may seem like a blessing from afar. So that's how secret prayer is. It's not even telling the closest ones what you're doing. It's as simple as just letting it be between you and God. And I think we've all fallen into that sin. Well, we just tell everyone everything. He that have ears to hear, let him hear. So it's a repeated phrase in the book of Revelation. I mean, even though John was seeing all these great visions, as we see in the book of Revelation, and as it is more commonly said in the Gospels, even though John was seeing all these things in his revelations, there was always reminded that if he who have ears to hear, let him hear. So it's always important to take heed to what God is saying. It's a priority to have your ears to hear God. Not your mouth speaking so much, as we've seen in the last passage. Not your mouth saying so much things and saying all and repeating things. It's just letting God speak too. So God will test us. We may not even hear His voice after a few minutes, a few hours, or maybe a few days, but then it'll just come so suddenly to you. It just might come so suddenly, you hear His voice. Why? Because all that distortion of hearing Him is gone. It's like clearing out all this rubbish that you find in a forest. It makes it look like it's a junkyard. But once you clear out all the rubbish that's in this forest, it becomes a beautiful place. So when you clear out all this distortion that's on your ears and mind, that's on your mind, about when it comes to hearing the voice of God, it just comes more openly. You can hear it more clearly because of all that garbage that is in your mind. When it comes to hearing Him, you can hear more openly. So after you hear Him, it is common to write it down. Keep it within your spirit of what you hear from God. Thank you for listening. God bless your day.